All right. Welcome, everyone, to the 11.2 Cognos Unboxing live stream. I'm your host, Director of Technology, Vice President of Technology, I should say. I recently had a title change. Vice President of Technology, Ryan Dolley at PMsquare. And we are really pumped to have you here today. Tune my lighting down a smidge. Okay. We are really pumped to have you here today to unbox the 11.2 release of Cognos Analytics. So, as you all know, this release has been a long time coming. It's been not quite a year, maybe 9 or 10 months since 11.1.7 came out. And we have got a lot of great stuff in store for you today that I'm excited to share. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to say hi to everyone in the chat. So I've seen that you guys have been piling in here, saying hello from all over the world. We got people from Denmark, Germany, Brazil, India, all over the United States and Canada. Cape Town. Gil, thank you for the congratulations on the promotion. I appreciate it. Who did you donate your beard to? Yeah, Karan. So I made a mistake. I made a classic Michigander mistake, which is the first really nice day, I trimmed off my winter beard. And then, you know, it wasn't nice again for 3 weeks. It was like never got above freezing, miserable rain and snow. So it's something that you would think as a bearded man who's had a beard for a long time here in the Great White North, I would know not to do that, but I fall for it every year. Voltron standing proud. That's right. That's a Lego Voltron that my daughter and I built together. I had a lot of fun doing that. Congrats on the promotions. Lots of congratulations. Guys, I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. So I know everybody's excited to see 11.2, so I won't waste too much time with the hellos. This is a big release. I think you're going to be very interested in it and what it brings to the table. And I'll preface it by saying there's this term I use a lot when I'm doing these live streams where I refer to things as quality of life enhancements. And you guys sometimes make fun of me for that. But this is the biggest quality of life enhancement we've had to Cognos maybe ever, just in terms of how easy it is to use and navigate and the things it does, simple things that this release does that it needs to do from a usability and navigation perspective that the entire 11 release stream has been challenging in Cognos. A lot of those things are solved here. That's the primary focus of this release. So as I go through this, there's not a whole new studio, right? There's not a million new features or 100 new visualizations. There are new features, new visualizations, enhancements to things. The mobile app is now available to everyone on-prem, and we will be going through the mobile app today. So make sure you stick around to see that because it's pretty slick. But this is all about making Cognos easy for end users to use and understand and making it easy for you to customize it and make Cognos look the way you need it to look for your end users. So I'm going to preface it with that. Now, I know there are things that you guys have seen. If you've gone to IBM conferences, like I see someone referencing the new prompts, I saw those new prompts alongside you a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Those are not in this release. You know, if you're on the IBM Design Partner Program, which if you're not, I suggest you join. There are a lot of cool things that are coming down the pipeline in the next few releases, big new features that we're all going to be very excited about. But I personally think that this is an incredible release. The more I played with it, the more I liked it. When I realized, I think how much easier it makes just to log into Cognos, find what you're looking for, and get your job done. So that's what this release is all about, and that's what we're going to be showing today. So, drum roll, please. Without further ado, allow me to share with you Cognos Analytics 11.2. Ta-da! So you see they've gone back to a client-server approach. This is what it looks like. They've upgraded the graphics significantly. They've brought back popular features from previous versions of Cognos, like a file and edit menu at the top of the screen. And I really think if you look at, say, this 3D bar chart here, I think you'll find that it's very forward-looking, clean, and modern visualization. So really big improvement, I think, overall to what Cognos and IBM is bringing. Okay, guys, all right. I couldn't help it. You know, I had this idea. I was scrambling. I had this idea like a minute before we went live, and I was like, "Oh, I got to do this. It's too good of a joke." Okay. Where is the pie chart? I know. April Fool's was 8 days ago. I guess it is a belated April Fool's joke. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I got carried away there. Okay. For real now. Drum roll, please. I want the NFT for that screenshot. Yeah, we have PMsquare. We'll be getting into the NFT business here. Okay. So drum roll, please. The actual unveiling of Cognos 11.2.0 for your pleasure and mine. Here we go. All right. So what you're looking at here is the new Cognos 11.2 home screen. And a few things to notice right out of the way that I think are important to point out. Let me just make sure I got this open. All right. So what are we looking at here, right? So the first thing to understand is there's a new user interface. And if you've been following these live streams or talking to IBM, you know that they are kind of carbonifying Cognos. That's IBM's open source design system. If you go to carbondesignSystem.com, you can actually see all of the kind of the design principles and use them right in your own software if you want. But they've been applying this to all their software. And it started with 11.1.7, where they made a number of changes to the 11.1.7 interface to make it more in line with the Carbon Design System. But this is where we kind of go all the way with Carbon Design. So I see Venkat, it's good to see you, my friend, saying it looks like a website. It does. In fact, the first time I saw it, I was like, is that Cognos or is that the IBM website for Cognos? But this is Cognos. So if we look at the page, the first thing you're going to notice, lack of a sidebar. Okay, there's no sidebar here. And we had this quick launch section. So the quick launch section, and actually just let me, one thing I forgot to do here, let me just turn this friendly guy on so that you guys can follow along with me. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So we've got the, turn on a hotkey for that. Is that working? Yep. All right. So we've got the quick launch menu here. Now, the quick launch menu gives you easy access to the different things that you might want to do as an end user in Cognos really quickly, right? So in the past, it was the new menu. It was harder to find things. It's very easy now. It's right up front. And I actually really like this. And I can see one thing to keep in mind as we go through this is think about how this could be extensible in the future. As new features come into Cognos, how would it fit in? And I think it's really easy to see that now through this user interface. So for example, prepare data, right? If you were to click on prepare data, you see it opens up allows you to start to build a data module is what it does, right? If you click on present data, it gives you options. There's 3 ways to present data in Cognos: a dashboard, a report, or a story, right? So let's imagine, and this like suggestions for IBM, for example, I would love it if you could get into the data set building screen directly without having to click on a data module or a package and then choose data set. So imagine if you were to click on prepare data, it popped up with a screen like this that said data module and data set, right? As new features are added in, let's imagine in 11.2.4, we get a new studio of some kind. You know, that could go into one of these. It's very easy to find what you're looking for. And then beneath that, we've got the getting started section. So this links to the accelerator catalog, how-to videos, the Cognos samples, and then your recents menu, right? And you'll notice when I click on the recents menu, I get a very different looking list of content here. And we're going to dive deeper into that in a second. But I wanted to walk through what you see here. on this new home screen. I see some. So what do you guys think? Please share your first reactions in the chat. I see Magnum BI, which by the way remains my favorite username, who joins us for these live streams, is liking it. And Venkat, how many times have they changed the UI? Tired of them changing the UI? Yes, I agree. I do think so. Overall, I'm not a fan of how often the UI changes. But I think that this is a really good change, and I hope to show you that as we go through. So some positive stuff, some meh. Looks very polished. I agree, it looks very polished. Other things to notice here. So there's always a question: where's my team content? Where's my content? We'll get to that. It's here. Another thing to note is this black bar up at the top. This is now a constant in Cognos. No matter where you go, it follows you everywhere. And it's got the search embedded there. And this is a really important thing to keep in mind. Like, this is the same search we've had. So, I search for sales. I click that. It brings up this result page. But there's going to be a lot added to this. Is my prediction. A lot is going to be added to this search over time, where this is going to start to get more Watson-like features in it, and it's going to start to get maybe more like ThoughtSpot, where it's not just a search for content, it also can generate things for you, generate visualizations, NLP, NLQ, that sort of stuff, NLG rather, NLQ, that sort of stuff. It's going to do all of that, I think, is the intention for this section. And it's always visible. So this search is always here. It's always visible no matter what interface you're in Cognos. The next thing to talk about, someone said, well, where is the all the other stuff, the new menu and the team content and the my content. And that is located here under the little hamburger menu. So there's the hamburger menu. And when you expand the hamburger menu, then you can see your new uploaded files, contents, recent, and manage. Okay. So everything is now in this side menu, and that's where everything is located. Yeah, nice not to have the sidebar always taking up space. I agree, Mike. I think it's a big improvement. I do see a question. Well, how can you get rid of this thing, the Welcome to Cognos? And you absolutely can. If you go up here into the Personal menu and then Profile and Settings, and then into Settings, the Welcome Banner option is right there. So you turn that off, and the welcome banner is gone. Now, the welcome banner is controllable. All of the stuff that you see here is very customizable. I saw a question, well, can I customize the quick launch menu? Yes, you can, and I'm about to do it for you, okay? Now, there's no UI for customizing it. You do have to do a little JS and that sort of stuff, but the samples they provide are easy to work with to figure out how to do it. I'm not a programmer. I'll be the first one to tell you that, right? I mean, the people at PMsquare will tell you that too, right? I'm the hype man. They're the ones who with the real programming chops. This is customizable. So let me show you. I'm going to upload 2 extensions here to show you how this works, and I really like this. Okay, so we're going to upload 2 extensions. Shout out to Torben Noer for helping me out with this yesterday and today. Really helped me figure this out. So big shout out to him and a thank you. So first, let's customize the quick launch menu. So I'm going to upload this custom quick launch extension. You'll see there the extension is. File uploaded successfully. Beautiful. Now it doesn't appear right away. You got to reload your browser. And now you can see I've added a new tab called PMsquare Thrive. And this tab you can have it do different things on click. This is all configurable because you're writing JavaScript to tell it to do stuff. So when I click PMsquare Thrive, you'll see it opens Thrive in a new menu, and I could log in and use Thrive and that sort of thing. So this is customizable, track Cognos usage, stability, and adoption. So you can put your own tiles in here. They can link to your own places within Cognos. You could put a tile here that takes you to a particular folder in Cognos or opens a particular report, links to a website, lots of stuff there. So I mean, that I love. Now I see a question here, BI Dude Jr. I'm also a junior BI dude. Side note, my dad worked for Cognos starting in 1994. I can remember when he got the job there. So I'm a junior BI dude. So do they have a feature for emailing notifications upon a report run failure yet? So I actually have not seen the patch notes for this. So a lot of what you're seeing is either stuff I discovered or stuff I worked with IBM for them to show me. So, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, you can't. And that actually, BI Junior, is what this Thrive product that we build at PMsquare, that's a big thing that it does, is it sends you email notifications when reports fail or schedules fail, that sort of thing. So this is a neat little tool, out of scope for today's conversation, so I won't give you a big Thrive sales pitch, but if you're interested in that, reach out. Okay. Can you make specific quick launch screens per user group? I believe you can, yes. Now, I haven't gone in and tweaked that, but these are extensions, and I do think you can when you look at the customize menu, I think you can turn extensions on and off for different roles. I don't know if it's just roles or groups and roles. I'm not positive, but these are all extensions. So you have all the same management options that you have for extensions before. So let me upload the next extension. I love this one too. This is going to make you guys flip. So it made me flip anyway. So customization, extensions. Okay. Customize tab, open. And then let's go ahead and reload this bad boy. And now here you can see, look at all these beautiful tabs. So again, big shout out to Torben for helping me with this. I really edited something that he did in order to figure all this out. So here you can see today's news, where you could put whatever you want in here, right? Here's just an example. Then there's the out-of-the-box get started in recent. And then you've got a sales map. So this is actually showing a report in Cognos. Now, it's showing it, you can strip all this stuff out with a better URL. I didn't really mess around with that, but you guys get the point. I could just have it show the report content. I tried to get this to link to Thrive. Couldn't quite figure it out before the live stream, but I'm pretty sure that you're able to do that. And then here's a tab going to a specific folder within team content, okay? So all of this stuff you can do, these types of customizations you can do to the home screen. You can customize what that welcome banner looks like and what it says and all sorts of stuff like that. Can you get a Tyler tab that brings you to planning? Oh man, Rick, I think we could figure that out, right? I haven't done it, but I think we could. It seems like it should be doable. So that would be awesome. So does it allow security to control the tabs, workspace applications and quick launch? Yeah. So, you can link to any, let's say you have a workspace application, if you can access it just via a link, you can absolutely build a little tile here to take you straight to it. Should be possible. And you can do extensions per group. It makes me happy to see the positive feedback for this. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous because, the UI is changing so much and it's hard on people, the constant UI changes. But this one I think is really good, really good. All right. So did I hit everything I wanted to talk about there? Pretty much. The hamburger menu we talked about. Let's start to look at the content browser. This alone is worth the price of admission in my mind. So if you look here at the new menu, you notice they group these into sections, data, explore, present, kind of matches what you have in the quick launch. Also jobs. So, again, as they add new things in here, it could be categorized under these categories. I don't know anything about that for sure. Makes sense. I hope that's what they do. Now, when you click on content, you notice the flyout menu is gone. The ever-expanding flyout menu has been banished, finally. And now we have something that, to my mind, looks a lot like Cognos 10, right? Here's my my folders and my public folders, my content and my team content. And it's organized logically. It doesn't squish the names, so you can have very long names now. You know, the problem with Cognos 11 forever has been if you have a report with sometimes longer than 10 or 12 characters, if it's very deeply nested in the folder structure, the whole thing will get crunched out. I see, so a lot of that's been solved here. I see a lot of questions about Event Studio, Legacy Studios. We'll talk a little bit more about them later. However, they're all still here, right? So nothing has been removed. As far as breadcrumbs are concerned, like let's take a look. If I click on samples, by feature, core, data, you can see here's your breadcrumbs, right? So that's all there. Can you add folder specific tabs for user group? Yeah, I believe you can. So you can add new tabs to this screen and they can be visible to different user communities. But you can see it's all here, right? Now, I love this so much more, and let me show you why. So a couple of things that I like here. Let's go back up to team content, and take a look at some of the features here. So first of all, the options, you've got this options bar. They're always visible, okay? So they're not hidden behind anything. They're always here. And then if you click on the tiles view, you can see these laid out in tiles instead of as a list. Now, is this good or is this bad? Well, it really depends. This is how Power BI looks. This is how Tableau looks, right? Things are not listed as lists. They're like in tiles, right? And so you have a tiles view. Your users who are more familiar with that sort of stuff will see they can switch it to the tiles view and leave it there. And one of the beautiful things about this is that it remembers the settings you put in here, okay? So like, let me change the sort order here. So let's just go descending, right? I changed it in descending sort order, okay? And now I'm gonna like navigate away. Okay, and now let me navigate back to the content. It's still in the same sort order. Let's go ahead and, like, if I were to log out, let me just do that here. Now, I haven't tested this. I've been told this. I haven't tested it. So let me log out, right, and go back in. Oh, it looks like it didn't save the sort order. See, I was told it did. But in any case, it remembers a lot of the settings when you're in a session in here as you do things. Like if you navigate away and you come back to the content, it's on the page you were looking at before, right? It's not, in the past, you would navigate away from the content windows. And then when you went back to the content windows, like you'd have to start over from scratch. It remembers where you were now. You've got lots of options in here as for what to do. Now, can you do a custom sort order? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. If you can, I haven't seen it in here. But there's other things to really like about this. Now, I'm a old school Cognos guy. I like list view. So a couple other things to note. Let's take a look here at what we have up here. So for example, let me go into sales reports. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, we've got upload data and new. And one of the things I love about this is if I click the upload data button, okay, and then I navigate to something I want to upload, like, let me just grab something, say, where did I put that? Demo assets, American time use, okay? When I upload this, it's going to put it directly into the folder that I had open where I clicked the upload data button. So again, things that are just basic, simple, not a revolutionary new feature, but make it very easy to use. The same thing, we have the new button, and when you click the new button, it's all the stuff that you as a user have the ability to build, just like in Cognos 10 when there was a new button in the upper right-hand corner. Other things to note here. It's not just dumped into my content, BI Dude Jr. It goes where you are, where you click the upload button. Very nice. I see a lot of questions about Are there under the hood changes, improvements to SSO, that sort of stuff? Yes, there are. I mean, SSO, I'm not sure if there are or not. There are under the hood changes that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So the other things I really love about this. So when you click on any individual item, you get this blue menu of like, what can you do to this, right? So open, share, add shortcut, copy or remove, delete, right? It's easy to multi-select now. You know, in the past, people didn't even realize they could multi-select, right? Like you would, there was nothing in the Cognos UI to tell you could do a multi-select. That is easy to do now by multi-selecting these. And you can do things like multi-select. You know, you can, of course, we've got the menu here, all the things you can do. Like in this case, it's a data source. So here's all the stuff I could do with a data source. Now, if you get a menu when you right click too, this is another thing I like, right? You get this options when you right click. So you don't have to click on the little action menu on the side. You can right click on any of these and get the same menu that you would get by clicking on the more menu. So that I really love too. You can also, if you multi-select these, you'll notice that you have the option to create a new job. So you can multi-select the things that you're interested in and then create new job, and it'll take you into the job building interface and automatically add those things to it. So very nice. Now that I'm in this job building interface, I want to point out that the switcher at the top has moved, and it's actually gotten a lot nicer too. So we'll take a look at that in a moment as well. Now let me go back to my content, and again, remembers where I was. So simple, so nice. What else did I want to show you guys here? It remembers where you are. You got specific options on click. Yeah, so I mean, this kind of covers the overall look and feel of the content navigation. It is a gargantuan improvement in my mind. So let me take a look at some of the questions that you guys have here. Uploading customization can be done through REST API or SDK. Yeah, the answer is yes. Are there performance enhancements? I see we're getting good answers. This is one of my favorite things about these live chats, by the way, is there are so many good answers that people, like, I can't, there's so much knowledge in this chat, let me put it that way, that you guys are asking great questions and they're being answered in the chat before I can even get to them. It's really cool to see. I see Doug, yeah, Doug Thiel putting a lot of good stuff in there. Yes, yep, lots of good stuff. I will, so some of that I'll be talking about, Doug, some of it I won't. Yeah, the switcher is nice. So just another thing to note, just my overall experience with this UI is very snappy, in my opinion, compared to previous releases. It's very snappy in all aspects. That's when I'm using the UI, when I'm in the actual tools themselves, when I'm in dashboards, I'm in report authoring, it just feels really snappy. It much more like a, it's much more like a, almost like a desktop application compared to a web application in the way I interact with it. Now, do I have some measurement of that? No, but I mean, that's my subjective experience is like, it just, when I'm interacting with it, just feels fast, you know? Yeah, no file. So Venkat, there were questions about file upload automation. Okay, so there is I believe that they're working on file upload automation. Now, I'm not sure if that's in the APIs yet or not. I seem to think it is, but I'm not 100% certain. But in any case, it's coming, and you can also do it with Jupyter. So you have options for how to do it. But I do know they're working on I believe at least they're working on more of a kind of GUI way to do it. Now, don't hold me to that. That's just what I've heard through the grapevine. Okay, I'll take a couple more questions, and we're going to move on. How much memory do I have allocated to the dispatcher? Default, so I think 8. This is installed on my local machine right now, so I'm not running it. And you know, normally when I do these, I'm running it on some beastly AWS server. I'm not doing that right now. I'm running it on my local machine. Now, the flip side is my local machine is a 16-core, 64 gigabyte of RAM gaming desktop. So it is a pretty beastly computer. But with all that said, yeah, so big changes here that I really, really like. Okay, now let's take a look at what's new in some of the actual studios. So I'll go new, and let's build a new dashboard and create. Yes, I do have a 5950X. I did get it. Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. It was quite a journey. So when you look at this right off the bat, you're going to see like this is not. So the concern maybe is, oh, is everything so different? My users are going to have to totally relearn how to use Cognos, and the answer is no. When you come in here, this is dashboarding. It's really not all that different. The default color palette's different. Some of the icons are different. They've moved them around a little bit. Like you can see up here in the corner, the AI assistant is now the top option, whereas it used to be the fourth option, I think. But this is dashboards. It's not fundamentally different, except a couple things. The first one is going to be there's two new visualization types in here. So radars and box plots. So let me just build a box plot for you real quick. And let's go into trusty old Great Outdoors data module. So let's take a look at this box plot and see how this works. So you need a y-axis, an x-axis, and a key, basically. So if we go ahead and say I want to do revenue, it's the y-axis, and on the x-axis, let's put in, let's go retailer type. Oops, I put that in the wrong spot. There we go. Nope, I totally messed that up. There we go. Okay. And then you want to put in something else like, products or something like that. Let's just grab product line, drop that in key. So here you can see box plot. And then the other visualization is a radar chart. I'm going to be honest, I don't like radar charts, but it's here. So I haven't even built one of these yet because I don't like radar charts enough that I haven't even been in my prep. And I'll tell you guys, I don't do a ton of prep for these because I want them to feel not like a software product demo, I want them, so I don't do a ton of prep really. So let's just see what we can make out of this radar chart here. Let's just do similar things. So let's go. And on the x-axis, we'll use, where was retailers? Let's use retailer type. So there you go, radar charts. So the two new visualization types, so that's nice. Now, my overall interacting with this user interface, again, just feels way faster to me. The little stuff, resizing things, clicking on buttons, doing this, doing that, feels so much faster. The other thing to note is that they have made big changes to the way dashboards work under the hood, okay? And specifically to improve first load performance when you open a dashboard. So when you open a new dashboard, they've rearranged the order in which things happen and in which they render things in order to improve performance. And when I was talking to Torben, the example he gave was that in at least in one testing, it was 53% faster on first load than it is in 11.1.7. So I know a lot of my customers who heavily use dashboards, that's a complaint. When I first open the dashboard, it takes forever to load. Once it's open, it's pretty snappy, but it takes forever to load on the first load. There's big performance improvements there. There's another feature called Watson Moments, and this is like the beginning of the more advanced AI stuff that they want to show us here. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have been trying for a while to get a Watson moment to trigger, and I can't get it to trigger. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but basically what a Watson moment is it's kind of like the next step of AI of AI in Cognos, where you see here this section, revenue missed expectations. It was lower than planned revenue by 4.73%. It's kind of an extension of what you see there, right? Where it's got a new UI. It kind of pops up and says, hey, I discovered something cool, and gives you a, kind of something you didn't ask for, but you might want to know, like a comparison between revenue and planned revenue, and then has an explanation for why it thought it was cool. But like I said, I can't get it to trigger on the samples that we have here. So it's a little, I wish I could show it to you, but I spent like 20 minutes. I even built a spreadsheet to try to get it to trigger, and I couldn't get it to trigger. So, so that's one thing here. I see a question, how do you enhance the metadata? So this is built off of a data module, which shouldn't require, it's built off of a data module off of spreadsheets. So there's a couple possibilities. It could be that it doesn't work on spreadsheet sources. It only works on database sources. I don't know if that's the case, but that could be what's causing it to not trigger. I don't have a database source in this environment. I'm basically demoing off of what comes shipped with it. And, the samples nowadays, the base samples anyways, are just spreadsheet based. So that could be what's causing it. Okay. So the big thing, again, these two new visualizations, they're nice. I'm a box plot fan personally. Radar charts, I could take it or leave it. I'm interested if any of you have ever gotten really new or gotten a lot of use out of radar charts. It seems to me, I don't know, I don't really like them. But anyway, are there any new properties, highlighting of negative KPIs in a bar chart? So to my knowledge, there aren't. I haven't gone through and checked every single one of these. And like I said, I'm flying without release notes at this point. So there could be changes in here. And in fact, I'm sure there are that I'm unaware of, that I'm not going to show today because I just don't know they're in there, right? But those are the major changes in dashboards, okay? Now, let me go ahead and open a new data module. And just to show you guys one thing that, there's one simple change in data modules that I actually think is really good. And that is that the navigation paths in data modules are now visible. In the past, there was like the show navigation paths button, and then it would just underline them, but you couldn't tell what data item belonged to which nav path and all that sort of stuff. It was just a mess. Now the navigation paths are visible in the data module in the same way that they're visible when you're using the data module in dashboards or reports. So this is a small change. It's one that I makes my life way, way easier as someone who builds a decent amount of data modules, because again, there was no easy way to manage nav paths within the module itself. And now you can easily see them all, build them all, that sort of thing directly from the navigation paths folder, which is visible at all times within data modules. So that is the big change to data modules that I've been able to discern from playing around with this. And it's a small one, but a good one. It kind of goes back to the theme before when we first started today, when I was talking about what is this release all about, this release is about making Cognos easier on people, easier to use, easier to navigate, easier to understand. It's not about a ton of incredible new features, but those are coming, trust me, as someone who has some insight into the roadmap, and I work with a design team pretty closely to see what's going on. There's a lot of really awesome stuff coming in the next few releases that I'm very excited to see. So Kieran asks, can you implement determinants in data modules? You can. Determinants in data modules are actually way better than in Framework Manager, and the way you get to them is by this column dependencies feature. So I won't go through it now because it's pretty complicated, but as you can see here, it's here. So column dependencies are determinants, and I find them easier to use and understand, really. I teach a lot of, if you were to take a data modules course with PMsquare, odds are I would be your instructor, and this is covered in the course. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us. But yeah, you absolutely can do two determinants in here. Okay. Okay. So man, the questions are coming so fast here. It's hard to even keep up with them, and a lot of them are really good. Can we do the transition into data modules like in the FM? I'm not 100% certain what you're getting at there, Jorn. So if you want to clarify, I'm happy to answer it. Cascading filters for dashboards. Not that I have seen. Not that I have seen. Now, let's take a look. This is the only change in data modules. Again, the caveat, when I say this is the only change in blank, I'll reiterate one last time. I haven't seen the patch notes, so there could be changes I haven't uncovered. There will be changes I haven't uncovered. And if you sign up for our newsletter, if you go to pmsquare.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're going to see first of all, we're going to try to capture a lot of the questions that we're getting here in the chat that I'm not able to answer and send out an 11.2 live stream FAQ document with our next newsletter. The other thing you'll get is, you'll get updates on what's happening on our blog. And when the actual release comes out and we do see the patch notes, we'll do a summary blog post for you to check out for the stuff that I wasn't able to show today. I see a question. Well, okay, this is cool. When is it coming out? I don't know for sure. I have heard a date, and I'm probably not at liberty to say, but I would tell you it's not too far in the future. Okay, what's new in reporting? I see a ton of questions. So Query Studio in the admin portal. Okay. Let's take a look at what's new in reporting real quick, and then don't let me forget to address Query Studio in the admin portal, okay? So let's go new, report, and did I just call it Report Studio? Old habits die hard. Okay. What are the big changes here that I'm aware of? So the first thing is Report Studio is not 100% carbonified. It's mostly carbonified, but not 100%. So like when you come in right away, you'll notice it looks a little different. It's got this instead of the flyout menu, which is something I like. And in general, I would say a big theme of this release is they have gone away from like contextual menus. They've been doing this for a while, but it really hits home here. Contextual menus that are totally hidden unless you click on the right thing, which is a great move. I think that was a bad design decision, and I'm very happy to see them move away from it. So the big new feature that I'm aware of in this release is that they've added dynamic baselines for visualizations, 11.1 visualizations in report authoring. So let me just grab our trusty Go Sales here. Help if I clicked in the right place. Great Outdoors, open. All right. So I'm going to build a visualization, and let's make a clustered column chart, okay? And let's add to it something simple like retailer type in the bars, and again, revenue in the length. Okay. Now, I should be able to, in here, in baselines, you'll see now I can create a baseline based on a query calculation, a layout calculation, a numeric value, %. So this is actually really powerful. The fact that you can create a baseline off of a query calculation gives you the ability to do a ton of stuff. That is really very, very powerful, I think. Now, I haven't, I haven't gone through and really tested this in any great way. So let's switch off edit mode and see what it looks like. Yeah, see, so here's the line, right? I set it to 50%. And like, is that mind-blowing? No, I didn't just do something mind-blowing, but I think, if you can imagine what you can do with the ability to plot a line based on a query calculation as a Cognos professional, very powerful, very powerful. Okay, that's the big change in report authoring. So the next thing to show you that I really like is, let me go back to the homepage. Look at the switcher. It says 4 items open. Right? Isn't that great? It's like you've got 4 items open in the switcher. The thing about the switcher is I think people couldn't even tell what it was before, because by default it just said welcome. And then there was a little down arrow. But now it's like, oh, there's 4 items open. What are my open items? And here they are. Okay. Now I promised I would talk about Query Studio, Event Studio, Analysis Studio. And then what was the other thing? There was something else. Something else someone asked, but I don't remember. Can you close all 4 items at once? I don't think so. You still have to close them one at a time. That would be a great feature, though. I see changes to data sets. Talk about data sets. No changes to data sets that I'm aware of. So, if you know, in 11.7, the data set building UI received a significant overhaul that allows you to access the query editor from report authoring. And that is huge, makes building data sets so much better. And the reason why is, what I used to have to do is I do all these joins and stuff in data modules and then build a data set off the data module and then re-import the data set back into the data module and then hide all the tables that I used to build the data set. It was just a mess, right? So now you don't have to mess with all that. You can just do all the joins and write your own SQL and everything to build data sets directly in the data set building UI. But with that said, there are no other changes to data sets that I'm aware of, and that includes how they process under the hood. Okay, other questions. Chromium engine, IE compatibility, since Microsoft seems to be letting that go by the wayside in lieu of Edge. Yeah, so I haven't noticed any problems with it with Chromium-based browsers. I will say, right now I'm using Firefox. I often use Brave, which is a Chromium browser, and I've never had any problems with it. The admin console, yes, IE11 is no longer supported. So here's the deal, guys. The IE11 is no longer supported, and you will logically be thinking, oh no, what does that mean for Event Studio and everything that relies on IE11, Analysis Studio and Query Studio? So here's the deal. Microsoft is no longer supporting IE11 and is sunsetting everything that references it, right? So IBM can't continue to, they just cannot continue to support IE11 for Cognos when the company that makes it doesn't support it anymore. And that's IBM's general point of view. When does IBM start supporting a version of Windows Server? It's when Microsoft stops supporting the version of Windows Server. So Microsoft is no longer supporting Internet Explorer in any meaningful way. And so IBM is no longer supporting it either. So what does that mean for Analysis Studio and Query Studio? Well, if you go into the legacy interface, you can still run Analysis Studio and Query Studio in Cognos Analytics 11.2. And you can run them in Chrome. It's been tested out, I think, not super rigorously. I don't know that you would call it is it officially 100% tested and supported? You have to talk to IBM about that, but it does work, okay? And then if you have Internet Explorer, obviously you can continue to attempt to use it, but the support for it is going away, which means, if you think through it logically, it raises questions about the support for Analysis Studio and Event Studio, Analysis Studio and Query Studio as a whole. And that's a question I can't answer. I don't know what the answer to that is. So we'll have to talk, we'll work with IBM together to figure out the path forward there. But it does work. So they say it's not supported, but it does work. So you should still be able to, you can get to all those studios via the legacy interface in Chrome. I do know that. So you don't have to go through Internet Explorer to get to them. You can go through the legacy interface in Chrome. I would say at this point, you really, really need to be thinking about how to get off of those studios. I understand it's a challenge. You may have hundreds or thousands of users who use them. Reach out to us and we can help you put together a plan to do that. But we have to be thinking about how to get off of them at this point, because they are built on technology that other vendors other than IBM, provide that technology, and those vendors are starting to stop supporting those pieces of technology. So we really don't have a choice there. Did the expression editor get an update? Not that I'm aware of, Ronald. It might have a slightly different user interface, but I don't think there's anything new in it. What is the alternative to events? There is no alternative to events. So I would continue to use it if you're a very heavy user of it. We really just need to go to IBM and say, look, like, we need something like this functionality in here. So if Event Studio's sailing into uncharted waters because the browser that it's based on is no longer supported by Microsoft, then what are we going to do about that? Is there any ability to use maps that are not connected to the internet? Not to my knowledge. They're still based on Mapbox. Are charts still available, and any updates to charts? Surya, if you're referring to the Cognos 10 charts, I do think they're still available, and I would not anticipate any updates to them. Any updates on active reports or replacements of MHT in this release? I don't know that I'm in a position to really speak much to that. I do know that IBM is actively working on a solution for active report users that will solve the MHT problem. That's what I'll say. But I don't know that I'm in a position to share any more details on that. If we have someone from IBM in the chat who's willing to go out on a limb and answer that, that would be great. But I just don't think I can talk about it in any greater detail. But do know that they are working on it. PDF to PDF drill through is also something that IBM is aware of and working on. Whether or not the solution to that and the MHT problem will make it into the 11.2 release in the nearish future, I don't know. But I do know they are actively working on a solution to both of these problems. Do you have a roadmap or upcoming features published? IBM does publish a roadmap and upcoming features page somewhere, but it's very bare bones. I think that probably what we should do is do a live stream with someone from IBM that's all about the roadmap, and we'll just do a roadmap conversation. And why don't we take a note to? I'll take a note to do that. Maybe we'll do that. Try to set that up in 2 or 3 weeks as our next live stream is. Now once 11.2 comes out, maybe we'll do a roadmap live stream in conjunction with IBM. Yeah, that's a great idea. We're gonna do it. Okay. I just answered a ton of questions. So I think what I want to look at now, and the final piece of the puzzle here, and I know we're running up against an hour. Okay, is take a look at the mobile app. I see a question: how has Explorations evolved? Explorations have not evolved, to my knowledge. They're the same. Is Stories still around? Stories is still around. Remains unchanged, as far as I know. Does the in-place upgrade work for 11.2? I would expect it to work. I will tell you, I did the easy install here, and the easy install almost always fails for me, like almost always fails. Did not fail this time. Worked great. So that's a positive sign. The admin console. I apologize, guys. I know you've been asking for 15 minutes, and I haven't gotten to it. So obviously the management menu is here. I'm sure there are changes to this manage menu that I just haven't seen. There are probably little changes, but the admin console remains the admin console. So I'm not aware of anything that they've moved out of this and into the manage menu, but there could absolutely be something. I just don't know what that something is. So this is, if you're familiar with how to use this, it to my eyes, has stayed largely the same. Okay. Everybody's excited for the admin console. So were you all hoping for a new admin console, or are you excited that there's not a new admin console? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the chat. Some things just don't need to change, and the admin console is one of them. Updates to interval schedules ramping up. Yeah, I would expect there to be more frequent updates going forward, kind of like what we had during most of the 11.1 release stream. Yeah, we're not going to be waiting another month, or 8 months, or 10 months for 11.2.1. I'll tell you that. Everybody wants it to stay the same. Hey, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, now, so this is the last part of what I wanted to share with you guys here. And this, I think, is pretty exciting. Let me clear all of this stuff. Okay. Are you ready to go on a journey with me, fam? Here we go. So this is the part of today's show where we may experience technical issues. So let me just get this off of the screen here to make sure that this is working properly. We're about to dive into the mobile app, so here we go. Are you prepared? I present to you my phone. Okay. Now it's going to look a little blocky because it's scaling up. I have a 1440 display, so it's scaling up my phone display to a 1440 display. So if the graphics look a little chunky to you, that's why. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. The Cognos Analytics mobile app. Actually, I'm going to need to minimize this for a second. So how do you use this? Here you can see it on my screen. And if it's asking me to scan, is it an iPhone 6? It is not an iPhone 6. It is a Pixel 3a. Pixel 3a. I'm a Google guy. Okay, so let's go in here. And you'll notice in this menu, you've got the Cognos Analytics for mobile. And here's my phone. It's asking me to scan a QR code. So let's click this and get the QR code. And here we go. Whoop. QR code has been scanned. And we're going to next through this. I'm going to full screen this bad boy. So this is connecting over my home Wi-Fi to the mobile app. It's going to ask me to log in, which is okay. I got this stored in my thingy here. And nope, I don't want that. Where's my view all button? So this is our Dolley. I should have just made this something simple, but I think so let's search here, desktop. There it is. Log in. All right. I wanted to walk you through what your users will actually have to do to use this. So here we go. The Cognos Analytics mobile application. So here you can see on my page, right? This is a board. So everything here is organized into boards, right? And boards are like collections of visualizations that you have access to. If I click on this, you'll see this is board 1. I can make additional boards or browse boards if there's more than one board available. All of that stuff is here, okay? Then I've got content. This actually connects to my, so this is my stuff in Cognos. So here's my recent tab in Cognos. Here's the team content tab in Cognos. And I can go through and browse the content available in Cognos here to look at visualizations and stuff like that. Then there's a notifications section. Check this out. These are alerts that have come in. So I set an alert yesterday to run every 15 minutes, and you can see it triggering every 15 minutes to let me know that a particular threshold in the data that I set has been reached. So this does not replace Event Studio, but it does give your users a mobile-based way to set data-based alerts that will pop up on their phone and say, hey man, you wanted to know when sales went above $1 million. It just went above $1 million. And I'll show you how to configure that in a second. And then the final thing you'll see here is the assistant. So this is the exact same, AI assistant that you have in Cognos, right? So here you can say, I can talk to it and I can say, I'll actually even use Google, show revenue. Okay. And it's going to do the exact same stuff that the AI assistant does in Cognos. So here's revenue. It's interesting stuff about revenue. You can look at what influences revenue. Did you know revenue missed planned revenue by 4%? Well, maybe I want to see revenue with product type. And it's going to build this chart. And once this chart is built, I can take a look at the different chart types. You know, which one do I like? Maybe I want this bubble chart, product size, product type sized by revenue. Okay, that's cool. Now I'll click add pin and it asks me, which board do you want to add it to? So we'll add it to the revenue board. Okay. Now I go back to my boards and I click on here. Here's the revenue board and I can see that pin that I just added to it. If I want to get alerted when the revenue changes, you know, when one of these values changes, like if I were to go to, which board? Say the board, right? And I can, of course, look at one of these visualizations, but let's say I want to set an alert to pop up on my phone when something happens in the data. Okay, I can go ahead and do that with this little microphone icon. And then I'll add a new alert. And we'll call this alert name alert, because we're very creative on this live stream. And of course, it says column undefined because something got hosed up. Okay, maybe if I try that again, will it work? Undefined. Why does it say that? Well, let me show you the alert I already made. Should be in there. Yeah, so I have notifications turned on. This is where you would go. So you have to set how often do you want it to pull for data. I've got it set to every 15 minutes. That's the most common one. But you can, you know, do weekly, daily, or hourly, and then set at what time it does that. So the thing to understand about that is every time these alerts, like it pulls for data, it issues a query to the Cognos application server. So you need to keep in mind, you know, how many queries are you issuing to the Cognos application server here. Notification schedule, manage viewers. Yes, please show me this. There's the alert. So here's the alert scheduling screen. So I created this golf alert. I defined it by revenue. So here it gives you an option of the columns that are visible there. And then do you want it greater than, equal to, right? And then a value. And then you can apply filters to it. So do you want just anytime the total revenue, or, you know, filter it by, in this case, we're looking at 2018 and we're looking at just golf shops. And then the note is golf shop sales, it says Dales. Golf shop Dales are through the roof, right? So when I set that, at that point, I get an alert that pops up on my phone that that says, hey, the condition that you set has been hit here. And so you might want to take a look at this. So it is not a replacement for Event Studio, but it is a nifty little mobile application. There are a couple other little things that you could show in here, but I will leave it at that. And I'll leave it at that for now. So this mobile app, I think, is a really good first start, in my mind, at a mobile app. There's a lot of stuff I could see that they can do with this to make it even more useful. I like it a lot as it is today. And I really want IBM to continue working hard on and developing this, because this is a really good start. The alerting shows great promise. The assistant is very nice. The fact that, you know, within, so one thing, I mean, let's take a step back. People like us, right? We don't use the AI assistant in Cognos. Like, let's just be honest. We don't. We know how to build stuff. And the way it exists in Cognos is good, but it makes so much more sense on a mobile device, right? In a mobile device, interacting with this thing, asking it questions by talking to it and getting responses is a much different. I mean, it just feels at home here, right? So this is really nice, and it's organized really easily. Where like you have these boards, and like if I look at the revenue board, right, it's all these different revenue visualizations. I can see them at a glance. I can set my own personal alerts based on the visualization. So what would you do? You would create a board for sales managers, and then all the sales managers would come in here and look at their board and see, their information on it, look at their visualization, set their own alerts for what they are looking for. And then their interaction with Cognos could be entirely through this app. So I really think it shows a lot of promise. It really does. One thing you guys are going to note, and there's no way around this and no way to sugarcoat it, so I'll just show you here. If I go into sales reports, the thing you don't see in here, all you see here is dashboards, is the new stuff. You don't see the reports. Reports don't show up in here. This particular dashboard has nothing in it. Where could I find a dashboard in which I actually built something? Let's look in the samples, and you can actually view full dashboards in here, or it decomposes all the visualizations in the dashboard and shows them to you in a scrolling way. The other thing I like about this is it really was built for a phone. It's not built for a tablet. BI for tablets. I just don't, do tablets really have a place in business? Sometimes. I don't want to knock them. Like, tablets are cool, but getting BI onto a phone is a much bigger challenge, and I think much more useful. So let's just look at the core dashboards just to show you a dashboard. What happens when I view a dashboard in here? You can see it kind of strips out the dashboard formatting and gives me the dashboard, just shows me the visualizations, right? So they've done a good job of converting it to a phone form factor. Now, it's taking a while to load. I couldn't tell you, is it always this slow? Is there something I needed to do when I set this up that I didn't do? That's likely, right? I didn't do any performance tuning of this at all. But you can see here it's loading in the visualizations. These bigger visualizations are taking more time to load in. I'm going to guess that has to do with network stuff and that sort of thing. I don't know for certain, but there you go. So you can see how does it load in, right? Use a data set. I love data sets, Julian. They are my fave. So you can see here, what does a dashboard look like? Now, I can't load a report. If I go into the reports folder, no content. Are the alerts or auto trigger alerts? So Venkat, you have to set you have to set in dashboards in the phone how often you want it to pull the data, right? It's because it's not running it's not running a query like every second, you have to tell it how often you want it to check. The lowest amount you can go down to is every 15 minutes. And I actually think that's smart because it's running a query. It's sending a query to the Cognos application server. So if you've got 200 people with their phones and they're telling it to send a query every 10 seconds, that's no good. All right. So that is the mobile application and what I wanted to show you of the mobile app. I think it's, I like the mobile app a lot. It's very promising, I think, where it can go from here. I really hope IBM continues to invest in it. I see, Jorn, you love dashboards on your tablet. Yeah, I'm not knocking it, okay? I take it back. Dashboards, I think, work great on tablets. I just think to really do BI on a device, it needs to have a be on a phone form factor. If you can crack that, and I think this is a good first stab at cracking BI on a phone, it's very nice. Yeah, Venkat, so dashboards are slow. There's a lot you can do to make them better with data sets. And this version, so the last two releases have included significant dashboard performance enhancements. I think we're going to continue to see that going forward. So it's very nice. New Excel add-ins. No new Excel add-ins to my knowledge. Are there offline function like active reports? I don't believe so. There's an offline function in this mobile app. That would be great, but it would be really good. All right, so that really covers what I want to show you here today. The final time I'll say this, there are things in this release for sure that I don't know about because I don't have the patch notes. When it comes out, if you have signed up for our newsletter, which you can go to pmsquare.com, and then when you click on connect, you'll see newsletter sign up. If you are signed up for our newsletter, when it comes out, you will be getting a kind of summary in your inbox of what all is new. We're also going to give you, if you sign up for our newsletter, a kind of FAQ of questions that were asked during this live stream that you can hold on to. So that's what's coming in 11.2. And when is it coming? It's coming soonish. It's coming soonish. I would summarize this release again by saying the overall, I love what they did for this release. Does it include a killer new feature or a new studio? This incredible new thing? It's no, but it solves a ton of basic challenges to the user interface that I think kept users from really liking Cognos. I do think they're really gonna like this. I really think it's going to be much easier for end users to interact with, to understand, and to navigate. And that is one of Cognos's biggest challenges at this point, is just it doesn't feel as good to use. 11.1.7 even doesn't feel as good to use as this feels really nice to use. As I use it, I think to myself, I like this. I don't think to myself, I wish they'd put a button here, or I didn't have to do this, or these flyout menus. Those thoughts are gone, right? So I think this is a really great release, and I'm really looking forward to what they're able to do with Cognos going forward, starting with 12.1, which is you're not going to be waiting 10 months for it, folks. I think we're going back to the every 3 to 4 month release cycle is what I think is coming down the pike. So with that said, I'm going to be, if we didn't get to your question, sign up for the newsletter, and that's the way to guarantee you get the 11.2 live stream FAQ document that we're going to be generating. Check out our website, our events section. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I am active on LinkedIn. I am posting lots of stuff related to Cognos and other AI or BI and data analytics technologies that you might be interested in. So connect with me on LinkedIn and stay in touch with us here at PMsquare. And with that said, I am going to sign off for the 11.2 live stream. I want to thank you all for coming. It's been a great live stream. You're a great audience. I love doing these and interacting with you. And so we will keep them coming if you keep showing up. So with that said, everybody have a good day. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. And until next time, I'm Ryan Dolley, VP of Technology at PMsquare, signing off. Have a good one, everyone.